Hey, it's Mr. Grimm. So today's video is going to be talking about resisting pressure from others and identifying who some of the people in our lives are that influence us to do certain things or to make certain types of decisions. So I hope you enjoy the video. So I'm continuing my discussion on skills for a healthy life. Today, I'll be talking about resisting pressure from others. And so we have to realize, excuse me, that there are people in groups that influence us to make decisions. And so in your journal topic today, I'll be asking who influences you. But let's look into this a little bit. There are always people throughout your life that are going to influence your style, your behavior, and your decisions. I mean, you may think that a lot of these ideas just come from yourself, but you've probably seen somebody do the things or do things similar to the way that you've decided to do them if you really step back and think about it. And so it's good to look into these types of influences. Some of them can be positive. It might be your friends or your family or other people who encourage you to make decisions that might improve your health in some way. And sometimes, like with style, that doesn't necessarily inform your health, really. Although I guess in a way it could, because it kind of paints a picture of which social group you might be in. And we will discuss a little bit more about stereotyping and some things that go along with that with social health. But there are people who could influence you in a positive way. So now if we look into the negative influences, that's when you're being pressured to do things that are not healthy in some way. It's important to keep in mind that for some people that could still be family or friends. Sometimes people that you're close to don't always have either, number one, the best habits themselves, or number two, they may not have your best interest in mind. They may be looking out for themselves a little bit more than they're looking out for your personal health. So let's look into that a little bit more. So if we're resisting pressure from others, we're going to be feeling it in different ways. So we can look into the types of pressure. Now there is a table on page 34 that I'm going to want you to look into, definitely before you write your journal. There's a couple different types of pressure. Let's look into direct pressure. Direct pressure is when someone tries to convince you to do something that you wouldn't normally do. This tends to be somebody who you know face to face. You probably talk with them. They probably try to use body language or other persuasive techniques to try to get you to do something that maybe you wouldn't normally do. And again, that could be a positive thing or it could be a negative thing in terms of your health. So none of these are really bad necessarily. It depends on the context upon which they're being influenced on you. Now, indirect pressure, having trouble with this again. Indirect pressure is pressure you receive from people that you look up to. Now, this could be people that you know face to face, but this could also be people that maybe you know online, or maybe they are celebrities, or some other way that you know of them or you've heard them talk about their lives. It's a lot more of a subtle form of pressure. And I give a little example of this in my blog post about Elon Musk. Now, I don't love everything about the guy, but he has put out some statements that I find very interesting and applicable. And when I'm making my decisions, I tend to go back to some of those statements. It's kind of like some people have things that they say that are guiding principles that you might listen to. And so those would be forms of indirect pressure. So keeping these types of pressure in mind and the people who are influencing you, we want to be able to identify negative types of pressure and to be able to resist those pressures from other people. And we'll get more into that later. But for today, I would just like to know, who are the people who influence you? And I also wanted to say I really enjoyed your responses yesterday. You guys did a really good job making those videos. So I think I'd like to do more of those in the future, but today is just a journal entry. Hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys on Monday.